Episode 4087, The Power of Might Be.
Moms, it's time to rediscover, rejuvenate, and renew who you are in mind, body, and spirit. Welcome to Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie, the show to help you do just that. Here's your host, certified life coach, personal trainer, and nutritionist, Christiane Wargo.
Happy day. I hope you're ready for an extraordinary week because it's a brand new start to a brand new week. So guess what? You get to dig deeper. You get to know who you are now and who you are becoming, the power of might be. For those of you who are brand new to Create Your Now, welcome to this incredible family. I'm so delighted of your presence. If you already haven't had the opportunity, you want to head on over to createyournow.com where you can learn more and sign up for the Kisses newsletter, the Keep It Simple strategy, everyday solutions to live, love, and impact. Well, this episode is brought to you by AIM, Inspiring Connection and Community. Well, I really do hope you had a fabulous weekend. Some areas I know, especially down here in the South, we've been getting flash floods and we've just got things, lots of rain, and not lots as in 5-10 inches, but lots as in a lot for us at one time. And, you know, we just don't have a place for the water to go. So I do hope that you're safe. I do hope that you're getting water that you need because you know what? Our earth needs it, honestly. But I want you to look about your life right now. I want you to think in terms of where you headed. Okay. You know the season that you're in. You know where God has put you. Okay. It doesn't matter your age. I want you to totally discount your age. Okay. Age is a number. This is not a factor. You know, I don't want to sit here and say, oh, let's play the doom is gloom game. And, you know, if you only have 5 more years, that's not what we're talking about here. I want you to look at life with big, lofty dreams like you had when you were 10, 15, 20 years old, where everything was in front of you. And you were like, that's what I want to go do. What if you could do that now? Because you see, you know, life, no matter what happens, has a sneaky way of throwing curveballs, right? It doesn't matter your age. And sometimes it feels like our dreams and our lives are at odds, each stealing time and energy from each other. You wake up one day tired and discouraged because what you aimed for yesterday didn't happen. It didn't come through today, or maybe not last week or last month or even last year. But what if the power of might be keeps you going, even if it took 15 years to reach the pinnacle of what you're made for? Now, you might be thinking, okay, now you want me to wait 15 more years for what I'm created to do? Do you know how old I am? I told you right now, work with me here on this. Age is only a number. We're not looking at years as in your age. I want you to look at years as into how much you're going to keep pushing through. Because honestly, you're not alone if this sounds daunting. And that's why immediately we think, I'm too old 15 years from now. Oh my goodness, what would that be? Most people give up somewhere along the way when now doesn't match the dream. But here's the thing. Sometimes the might be is the very moment that changes everything. Everything. So let me ask you this. When do you know to keep going? When do you know? If you look at Galatians chapter 6, verse 9, it says, let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. It doesn't say it will be easy or quick, right? It promises a harvest at the proper time, which might look like years, even decades of persistence. Consider Joseph. 15 years of betrayal, slavery, and prison led him to the pinnacle. Not overnight, not something that happened within just a few months or a year. We're talking over a decade. But through relentless faith and patience, he made it to the other side where God had written his divine design plan for Joseph. He stayed true, right? Joseph stayed true to his calling long before his breakthrough, showing you and I that the grind can be the proof of purpose. Now, I know you're like, I don't have time for that. I get it. That's because we're looking at our clock. I was having a conversation with my grandson the other day, and it was so funny. It's nice when they still take naps when they're young. I'm like, yes, naps are good. And especially when they're on the go. And sometimes you just need them to take a break because they're not sleeping and they're needing like 11, 12, 13 hours of sleep. So you get those naps in, and then between nighttime and nap time, they're getting all of their sleep in. Well, anyway, he had gone to nap time And he really didn't want to, but he did. And when he woke up, he was like, Grandma, is it still nap time? Is it nighttime? And we had the conversation and we went on. But then the next day he asked me the same question, but this time it was nighttime and it was now morning. And he goes, Grandma, Grandma, Grandma. And so I came in and I said, yes, bud, what is it? He said, is it still nighttime? I don't know if it's nighttime now. Now I understand this. There's not a clock in his room for a reason. We'll leave that for another episode. But it was like, okay, no, this is actually the time you can wake up. Really? I get to get up? Of course you do. Our concept of time from when we're little to when we're big is messed up. Can I just tell you, it's so messed up. And so when we look at when our timing is right, it's not the same as God's timing. It doesn't match. God's not wearing a Rolex watch. They might be like amazing down here on earth. But where God stands, he doesn't need a Rolex watch. He has God's watch, and that's all that matters. And so sometimes we have to look at the power of might to be. If we think of, okay, if I could, might be here, if I could just get to maybe at this point, right? Could that be the way you stay on course? That is your kiss to keep it simple strategy. Stay on course. Because part of the plan needs to be willing to trust the process, to trust God, so you can stay on course. And that course may be, you got to be there for 15 years. You got to be a Joseph. You got to be one who's just willing to do the grind. You've got to be one who says, oh, you know what? Maybe, okay, if I could hit this, if it's a might be possibility, okay, maybe I can go with it. I've been watching the French Open. And by the way, it's over now, so you don't have to hear any more stories, but I have to share this story with you. Sasha Zverev, I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name right or not. German player, tennis player, amazing, hit the professional tour, I believe, in 2011. So 15 years it took him to win his first Grand Slam title. He's played 3 Grand Slam finals prior to this, but it took the 4th one to take the trophy home at Roland Garros for the French Open of 2026. He worked really, really hard. And it wasn't like he was an accomplished player. He came in through his juniors years. He did great. He was number 1 at one point. He's been as high as ranked number 2 in the world. And so when you look at that and you're thinking, and he's not ever won in 15 years, not one Grand Slam. Now, you might be one who says, I really don't care, Christiane, because I don't pay attention to tennis. I get that. But I want you to pay attention to this. It was his drive. It was his, I know this is what I'm cut out to do. He picked up a racket at 3 years old and just kind of played with it. He wanted to be on the courts. His brother played too. The stories have it that he picked up the racket and would just kind of take the racket and push a ball around their apartment when he was just itty bitty. And now look, and he still enjoys being on the courts. You kind of have to be, right? But he had to stay on course in order to get to where he was just yesterday, winning his first Grand Slam. Now, mind you, he already won an Olympic gold medal in 2020. Yeah, he did. So you're like, well, why wasn't he winning a Grand Slam, right? We all have these questions. And that's what I want to bring that question to you. This is a professional athlete. This is a man who inside day and night, he is thinking about, I've got to have the body. I've got to have the drive. I've got to have the plan. And we just wake up, going to work. I mean, okay, let's, I do not want to insult anybody, but I'm going to say this because I love books. Let's think that you're a librarian. And I know librarians are thinking there aren't many jobs to be a librarian. Oh no, there are. It's okay. And I think it'd be awesome now that I'm older. I wouldn't have thought that when I was younger, but now I would think it would be awesome to be a librarian. So I'm going to pick on them because I think it would be a cool dream to have. But imagine, right? Being a librarian and you go in and every single day you're checking out books. You see people come in. You have just this rhythm, right? I'm not saying that doesn't take work. It does. It takes a lot of being very attention to detail oriented, right? one that says, and notice how I'm kind of walking on this very carefully because I do not want to offend any of you if you're a librarian. And please understand me, I love my librarians because honestly, I still have a library card. Shh, don't tell anybody. But I do, actually in 2 different states, but that's for another episode. So, I mean, just imagine that, right? But you've got this guy who's like he's like 6'6", I think he is, or of is. I'm like, you would think he would be like winning lots of things. He's been playing for 15 years. But then some people would say, well, you got Djokovic, you got Alcaraz, you've got all these other people that are out there, Sinner. But you see, they all fell short this year, or they didn't even play in the Grand Slam. And it opened up doors. If Sasha wasn't one who said, I'm going to keep going, the power of might be, if I don't keep going, I may not know. He had to stay on his course, not anybody else's, right? You have to be willing to trust the process, to trust God, to know that this is where I'm headed. So what does it look like in real life to stay on course, to really keep you on track? Number 1, don't give up. Don't give up. Every day you think about quitting, remember Romans 12:12. Be joyful in hope, patient in affliction, faithful in prayer. Hope is a muscle. You have to flex it even when the gains aren't visible. And the moment you quit is when the distance you ran becomes irrelevant. Don't give up. Sasha didn't, right? Neither should you. Your 15th year might be starting tomorrow. Don't give up. Number 2, keep going. Elijah ran from his calling, but God told him, and you can go check this out at 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 9 through 12, that often breakthroughs come not in storms or earthquakes, but in a still, small voice. Persistence is hearing that voice and stepping forward anyway. You know it as movement builds momentum, no matter how small. So keep going. Don't give up on yourself. That may mean, yes, you may have to take a time out for a month or so because of whatever. Or you have a season that you're like, okay, this is just has to go on the back burner. It's okay. Guess what? How many seasons that I have had, think back, that I say, wait, we're doing this new website. We're doing this. We're opening up AIM. The book's coming out. All of these different things. But guess what? I've had to shift my life so many times and I'm having to shift it again. I'm in the middle of a major shift right now as we speak. But I'm not going to sit back and complain. I'm not going to sit on my couch with my little butt imprint in it and say, you know what? Well, I guess if this is all it is, I'm just giving it all up. What would happen if you actually yelled that to yourself? Or better yet, picked up the red line phone and said, God, I'm done. I'm done with your plan. What do you think would really happen? Honestly, I don't know that I want to think about that. Because I do think sometimes God can be very powerful. And that might be, well, it might have a different definition for sure. And if it's meant to be, because it's God's divine design, let me tell you this, it's going to be. So why not keep going? Don't give up. And finally, number 3, believe more in yourself. Psalm 139 verse 14 says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Maybe that's the only thing you need to think about today. Not about how many times you failed, not how many times you haven't gotten or reached your dream or your goals or whatever you're doing. But your dream is not random. You're fearfully, wonderfully made. You're wired for it. Believing in yourself because God believes in you is backing the design God put in motion from the very beginning. He created you in his image. If you have a stirring within your heart, pay attention to that. When you believe more in yourself than in the noise outside, your dream becomes a calling stronger than any setback. And I know I get it because in reality, if we're really honest, like brutally, like down to the core, if we were to strip everything away, all of us have failed more than we've succeeded. Go ask Sasha Zverev. How many times has he been on the runner-up or the semifinals or the quarterfinals? but never in the finals with the winning trophy. Technically, only twice. Once for Olympic gold, so I would kind of knock that up there high. That's pretty amazing, personally. And then the other, winning a Grand Slam. But you got to believe. And you got to find hope. Hope in the long game. Don't measure your progress by a day or even a year. Measure it by faithfulness to your true self, who you are and who you are becoming. It's the long game. It's the 15-year grind that molds you into the person who can wear success without losing sight of why it matters. Sometimes it's not about reaching the goal, but the journey to get there. And usually it's the journey to get there. What you learn along the way. All the lessons. Notice I said lessons, not failures. I want you to remember the words of C.S. Lewis. You are never too old to set another goal or to dream a new dream. If 15 years is what it takes, then 15 years is what it takes. If it's 10 years, if it's 5 years, if it's 22 years, whatever it is, then it's however long that it takes. Period. End of story. But let me remind you of this too. Those aren't just passing years. They're years of becoming the person who deserves that dream. So what are you thinking about today? What dream is bubbling up within you? What dream are you maybe already in the midst of going after? But maybe you need to be willing to grind a little harder. And maybe it's a career dream. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a health dream. Maybe it's a relationship dream. Maybe it's a family dream. Maybe it's a financial dream. What is your move today toward the dream that God has for you? Keep going. Don't quit now when might be is just a step away from is. Go in peace. Be present. Be incredible. Be you. I love you so very much. I cannot wait to see you on the other side. Blessings, hugs, and lots and lots of love. We'll talk to you real soon. Have a glorious, blessed day. Bye-bye.
Feeling inspired, ready to train for life and love your journey? Visit createyournow.com for more incredible resources to help you along the way. We'll see you next time on Create Your Now, Your Best Selfie. And remember, always be sure you consult your physician before beginning any health and fitness plan.